Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Kcat News. I'm Brenton Bowman.
And I'm Austin Fonenstill. We have several announcements this week. To start us off, looking for a summer job? The Mulvane City Pool is now accepting applications for new lifeguards. You may pick up a flyer and application in the office or at City Hall. All the information you need is on the flyer. You must pay when you turn in your application to secure your place in the course. Deadline to turn these in is Friday, April 15th.
Grove Wrestling Camp forms are in the office. If you are interested, please get them back to Coach Lengra or Coach Myers by April 10th.
Seniors who plan on attending college next year are encouraged to fill out an application for the scholarship courtesy of the Kansas Star Casino. The scholarship is worth a minimum of $1,000 and is non-competitive. Also, incentives have been added this year. Anyone graduating in the top 10% will receive $2,000. Salutatorian will receive $4,000 and the valedictorian will receive $5,000. To apply for the scholarship, go to www.ksallstarscholarships.com. Be sure to fill out an application by April 15th.
The Mr. Wildcat pageant is tomorrow, April 2nd at 6 p.m. Admission price for a student is $3 and price for an adult is $5. The fundraiser is for Children's International. With that said, activity passes will not work. You must pay to get in.
Tonight is the annual District Art and Technology Show. It will be from 6 to 8 p.m. here at the high school. Students from kindergarten to 12th grade will have the chance to show off their hard work put into their projects from art, woodshop, and CAD classes. Again, that art show is tonight, April 1st, and that is no fooling. Now we are going to throw it over to Nick Parton for the inside scoop about the old library.
The city of Mulvane is close to completing the new public library, and now the question is what to do with the soon-to-be old library building.
The library, the new library, should be ready for occupancy about the first week in May. And an empty room of probably over 2,000 square feet, which is a pretty good sized space. But what I'd like to do, at least initially for at least a year or so, is that the city owns the building, maintains ownership of it, and that we use it as a community room that people could rent for wedding receptions, community blood drives, meetings of the benevolent or the civic organization we have here in town. And one of the things I want to try and do is use the community room to increase pedestrian and vehicular traffic in the downtown area. We are very dedicated, and the council has been the 20 years I've been here, to maintaining the vitality of the downtown area. And I think that the old library as some sort of a community room, community space, can complement that mission. The movie theater probably, you say, would it put money back into the economy? You are competing, and I've thought about this. First of all, there is not a market failure. Anytime the city needs to be very careful what kind of businesses it gets into. There are movie theaters in Derby and in Wichita. We would be competing with them for that purpose. Along the lines of a movie theater, it's going to attract a specific audience. Not everybody in the community, rollerblade, I call them roller skate shows, at age differential, would patronize it. But I don't think government, a city or a county, particularly for recreational activities, which are non-essential, you don't have to go to a movie theater to survive. You don't have to have a rollerblade arena to survive. I don't think a city should be competing with the private sector for entertainment alternatives. Now, if the Mulvane Recreation Commission, using that as an example, if they wanted to offer those types of things, they could do that at some facility. But again, nice ideas, but at the end of the day, somebody's going to have to support or subsidize the endeavor, and I don't think the citizens, the taxpayers, would necessarily be enthused about doing that.
The city is still deciding what the old library will be used for, but it looks like it will be more than likely become a community center. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Nick, for that interesting story about the old library. Now I'm going to throw it over to Kids Nowadays with Lane and I.
Hey Lane, so we're going to interview some little kids at the Munson in their grade school today, but how are we going to get there?
I know a way. It's a 1998 Accord, manual transmission, 4 cylinders, only wrecked once. See that black hood? That's performance. That's carbon fiber. This car is my world. It's my everything.
I'm glad you drove to school today.
Alright guys, so Sean is working on Student Choice Awards that are coming up, so Brett subbed in for this segment. We got little kids at the grade school to write stories for us in two people narratives, and then we are going to act out the stories that they wrote while they narrate them. Please enjoy this segment.
So ready for the flour? No. There's no flour, there's baking soda. Yes, I have made this a million times. I have made this more than you. Food fight!
Alright, are you ready to go on the scariest roller coaster ever? I don't know. It looks pretty high, Greg. Oh, don't be a baby. Let's go. Okay, but if I die, you're paying my medical bill. Ah, finally at the front of the lines. You ready? Oh, the roller coaster. Ah! Yelled Jason. I'm gonna be sick.
No, I'm alright.
Thanks, Breton and Lane. Now we are going to throw it over to my least favorite reporter for the sports recap. The sports teams have been hard at work this past week, and I will start with girls soccer. The Lady Wildcats played against Dark City last Thursday, where they won a close game 1-0. They were back at it again against Valley Center last Tuesday, where they sadly lost 0-10. The girls played Circle yesterday at home. We will have those results next week. On to baseball. The baseball team played their first game of the season last Thursday at Circle. They lost the first game 0-15, but they redeemed themselves, winning 10-6 during the second game. They also played McPherson on Monday, unfortunately losing both games. Yesterday, they played Wellington at home. Results will be available next week. The boys golf team is in full swing this year. JV had a meet at Chaparral yesterday, and varsity plays next week against Andover on Monday, Chaparral on Tuesday, and Wellington on Thursday. Be sure to tune in next week for the results. Now on to softball. The softball team played against Circle last Thursday, where they lost during their first game 10-24. They also lost their second game with a much closer score of 10-12. On Monday, they played a doubleheader here at home. The first team was against Great Bend, where they lost 2-6. The second game was against McPherson, and the girls also lost that game 0-9. The softball team played at Wellington at home yesterday. Results will be available next week. Track and field had their first meet on Monday. Both the boys and girls team took second place overall against Winfield. Individual results include Emily Johnston in the girls' high jump with 4 feet 8 inches, Chase Pinka with 8 feet 6 inches in the girls' pole vault, and James Chancellor with 122 feet and 10 inches during the boys' javelin. On to the running events. Erica Landis got a time of 5:49 during the girls' 1600 meter. Madison Jacobs got a time of 54 seconds during the girls' 300 intermediate hurdles. And Caleb Kyle got a time of 10:46 during the boys' 3200 meter relay. Cade Gerlach came in a close second place, only 200ths of a second behind Kyle. As a team, Mulvane placed first in the boys' 4x800 relay with a time of 9:50. Mulvane also took first in the girls' 4x400 relay with a time of 4:33. Good job, athletes. It looks like you are on track. That's all for this week on Sports Recap. For Kcat News, I'm Austin Faunenstill.
Thanks, Austin. That's all we have for this week.
Thanks for watching Kcat News.